Hello and welcome to Azariah's Studio. My name is Sarah. I am the artist and designer behind Azariah's Studio. I'm going to talk to you about how to read a pattern. This is one of my freebies from my blog. I'll put a link in the description below. It's the joining workout for how to join squares granny squares when you're crocheting. There's not a whole lot of difference between a crochet pattern and a knit pattern and how you read it. Charts are going to be different. That's for a different time. I have already done a chart reading video for knit, and I will drop that link in the description below as well. So a good pattern is going to have its title, of course, pictures of what you're making, unless, of course, it's a mystery knit or crochet along, then there won't be pictures. There might be pictures of yarn or something that the designer used to pick the theme, but there's not going to be pictures of the final project if it's a mystery knit or crochet along. Okay. As I said, this is one of my patterns. I like to put a little bit of information here about what you're going to be doing in this pattern. And instead of using a skills like easy, beginner, hard, intermediate, a scale, I don't do that. I list the skills that are used in the pattern so that you as the stitcher can then decide if this is something you're ready to tackle. Right. Good pattern will tell you the finished size of the piece. If there is more than one size, it needs to have all the sizes listed. The materials that are needed, yarn. Yarn should include its weight as not its physical weight, its thickness. Is it sport, worsted, DK? And it should also include the physical weight, but more importantly, it should include the number of yards and the fiber content. That way, substitutions can be made easier. It'll give you the hook or the needle size, and it should have it both in what we call American, like 1, 2, 3, 4. If it's a needle, hook, C, D, E, F, but it should also have the millimeters that are needed. Notions, anything other than hook or needles and yarn. So stitch markers, the obvious ones, you will need 3 things for every project: tapestry needle, scissors, and a tape measure. Some projects list them, some don't. You will need it for every project, whether it's there or not. You're going to have to cut yarn and you're going to have to weave in ends. Highly, highly recommend doing the swatch, which means you're going to need the tape measure to see how your stitches are stacking up. Stitch markers, if those are listed, it should tell you not only how many, but what kind. Then there's a notes section. The abbreviation section, and this is where some people start to struggle. They see all these different things and it's like a whole new language, and to some extent it is. Take your time, take it one step at a time, and you can do it. Now, a spot that I missed on this one, but what every crochet pattern should have next to the abbreviations or terms or whatever they've decided to call this section, it should say whether or not it's US or UK crochet terms, because there will be a difference. These are US. So I'm not going to go through all of these. They should be in alphabetical order because that makes them easy to find. Stitches, if they are listed, which I don't have any listed in this one, are usually listed in order of appearance. Now, it's not every stitch. Like, I'm not going to list how to do a single crochet and a double crochet, even in this pattern. This pattern expects you to know how to chain, single, double, some basic stuff. But if I explain how to do a stitch, like if I'm doing a decrease in a particular way or something, it will be in order of appearance, not always alphabetically. But it should state that. It should state special stitches in order of appearance. This is where things get really difficult for a lot of people. Here's one of those abbreviations, RND. So you come down here. Oh, that means round. So this is round 1. Some of them are going to be fairly obvious, right? Could have figured out R and D was round. All right, CH is chain. Chain 2, 3 DC, double crochets. All right, this is a discussion that a designer and I have recently been having. Why does DC and SC not get an S, but chain CH does get an S if there's more than one? And there's not a reason why. That's just the way it is. So it's 3 double crochets, and you're going to do all that in the ring. We made the ring up here. Because it's in these brackets with 4 times behind it, everything in the brackets, all of it, is going to be repeated 4 times. When you're reading a pattern and you're first starting out and learning, it is best just to go one part at a time. So chain 2, stop at the comma. Right? 3 double crochets in the ring. All right, we're going to stop there because we're at another punctuation point. Caveat to this, even if it's brand new to you and this is your first time reading a pattern, I highly recommend you read the entire pattern from beginning to end so that you can mark things that might be completely unfamiliar, and so you can get familiar with them before you get to them, and things that might be a little bit out of order, but yet not really, because some patterns will tell you to do X, Y, and Z, but before that, they actually have like letter U. And it's like, that information would have been helpful before X, Y, and Z. However, there was no way to make it make sense before X, Y, and Z. So if you read through and you find those sections, you can mark them that remind you, hey, there's letter U down here that I actually need to do as I'm doing X for the first time, or something of that nature. And as you read more patterns and get into more patterns, that will make more sense. If you're brand new to reading patterns, I highly recommend you start with something simple like this. I will put some more links in the description box for both knit and crochet to help you get into reading patterns. Yes, they are going to be very simple beginner projects, but that is so that you can focus on the pattern reading and not on the piece itself that you're making. So when you're looking at patterns like in the store or in a book, you need to make sure that these things over here we talked about are listed so that you have all of that information. Other important pieces include, I like having the title on every page, the page number, that way things don't get out of order. Different headings, square 1, square 2, square 3. Rounds for each individual instructions that are going to give you an idea of where we're headed here. And then this is just a nice little thing to have. Some information about the designer, but it's not required. This pattern does not have a swatch. You're going to want a swatch in a good pattern. The beginner patterns that I am sharing with you, pretty sure they don't have swatches. I didn't go back and look first. But if you're jumping into a hat, even a blanket or a shawl, there's going to be a swatch. I highly recommend you do that swatch. It's going to have gauge listed. If there's not a gauge on a pattern, that's a deal breaker. A lot of people think that like amigurumis or toys or stuffed animals, even scarves, those don't need a gauge, but they do need a gauge. You as the stitcher want to make what the designer made. You need to know how many stitches per inch they got using the yarn and hook they got. Now it may take you a different yarn and a different hook or needle. That's fine. You're just trying to get the same size of what they made. If you have questions about how to read a pattern, drop them in the comments below. Feel free to email me. I'd love to answer your questions. My biggest advice about reading a pattern and learning to do it, just go slow. One step at a time and go slow. Thank you for watching. If you liked what you saw, be sure to like and subscribe. If you have more questions, you can always email me, Sarah@azariasfiberarts.com, or or drop a comment below. Happy making!